Hi, friends, and welcome to the Artist Blend.
Today, we're going to be talking about auditions and their fails within.
Yeah, rejections.
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
grab your mug.
And let's get talking.
So today we have another coffee from Carver Coffee. Or actually, I realized they're called Carver Trading Company now.
Yeah, I made that mistake. So
No,
sorry
no.
about
If
that,
you
Carver.
the website is still the same.
Great.
CarverCoffee.com will also take you to that website. But
Amazing.
we'll tell you exactly how we feel about it. But this is the Colombian blend. And a special thing is that if you want to get their coffee, you can get it for 10% off with our affiliate link, which feels so fancy and cool to say out loud.
on the second episode, we're like, yes, we have affiliate links. Thank you.
We're an affiliate.
Yes.
But no, if you want 10% off of this really, really good coffee, you can go to the link in our show notes, or you can just go use the code, the Artist's Blend, the little coupon code on the website. For 10% off.
Yeah.
So do that. It's really good coffee. And we'll talk
Amazing.
about this Colombian blend towards the end of the episode.
Indeed. Plus, they're good people, and we love to support good people in life.
It's Rob.
So,
That's the
yeah,
name. Rob and
uh-huh.
Sienna. They're the owners that I met at the farmer's market.
Amazing.
Listen to last episode if you haven't, and I talk a little bit about meeting them. They're great.
Research. If you can't tell,
Yes.
we're both also very animated.
Yes.
Both
And caffeinated.
And animated and
Animated and
caffeinated.
caffeinated.
Wait, that's a future episode title right there. Write that
I
down. Write
love
that
that. That's a shirt.
down. Caffeinated and animated.
Yeah. So today we're talking about something that we do know a lot about.
Yes, we do.
Auditions and rejections and
Wah, wah.
everywhere in between. The woohoo and the wah wah.
Yeah. Sorry, that was
What's
my ice maker.
oh, that's fine. I feel like that's like the ghost of every house is like, wait, am I living with a ghost? Oh no, it's just
it's the ice maker.
We're fine. I listen to too many true crime podcasts and spooky podcasts.
It's okay. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't think we've heard each other's stories. You know, like my big one that I'll get into relatively because you were like there when it all happened. But
Indeed.
Other than that one, I don't think we've
never
told each other
exchanged these stories, so this will be
No.
the first time to be like, no, type thing. So that's exciting.
Yeah, cool.
So you want to start?
Sure, I'll start.
Great.
I'll go back to the very beginning of theater.
It was a
for
warm
me.
Sunday, and
It was a warm Sunday. No, it was. So I had just gotten into theater. Well, yeah, I just done Alice in Wonderland at this theater, and then I did The Music Man, which was my very first musical with them.
Me too.
Right after that ended, they had auditions for Hairspray, and I had my heart set on being in that show, and particularly being Link Larkin, because who would not want to be as the young male who doesn't want to be the male lead.
yes,
And I was so enthralled by the theater bug, and just like I got bit hard. Not the company, the theater bug,
No,
but the actual bug.
We'll talk about
if you don't
them
know what the
later.
theater, the theater bug's great. They're a
We'll talk
company in
about them
Nashville.
later.
They're amazing. Anyway, I love you, Corey Lemel.
Corey Lemel.
But so I wanted Link so bad, and like it became my personality. It was everything all the time. I was 13, and I did not get it, which is probably obvious. I repeat, I was 13, and I did not understand at the time why I was like, I feel like I'm so perfect for this. I wanted it so bad, and there were probably many reasons why. I was probably not skilled enough yet. I had literally just started, but also
That's okay.
I didn't understand any of the innuendos that were in the show. And so looking back, I'm like, really? Why didn't someone tell me like, hey, this is too adult for you? But I was in it. I was in the ensemble.
I mean,
I was
great.
one of the nice kids, which was great. But that was my first like heartbreak. I remember calling somebody on the phone who was like a mentor of mine. And I was like, how do you deal with rejection? And I was like, oh my God. Looking back,
wee
really,
baby Easton. Yeah.
really wee baby. I was such a little baby, but
That's
it's
all
fine.
right.
But that was my first quote unquote rejection. Well, not my first. I got to know. I auditioned for Peter Pan, and I got to know, which I was really sad about. But then the crocodile quit, so they asked me to be the crocodile.
Amazing.
So that was my first rejection, technically.
The croc returns.
Yeah, the croc returns. But my first heartbreak was Link
Not
Larkin
getting
and
one.
Hairspray, which
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't, because, wow, I would not have been ready. I was literally 13. And it was a community theater, too, so, like, not the end of the world. But at the time, like, it was my world, you know? So
something that big as well at that time. It's
big.
it's a hard hitting thing, no matter what age you are. But to be 13 and be like, I can't have it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And also, I was a boy in theater, and like as we both know, boys in theater at community theater level get kind of whatever they want. We're kind of lucky in that sense because and now we grow, we learn.
Yes, indeed.
What about you?
My first rejection. So I didn't find musical theater the bug. Either way, not the company. We just keep having to say that.
Keep plugging.
Yes. I was 20, going on 21 when I found it, and for those listening, I'm currently 28, so I've only been doing it for about 8 years, which is crazy.
That's crazy. It feels like you've been doing it forever,
right? It does,
and you seem like you've been doing it forever.
Well, thank you.
Forever.
But I was 20. I auditioned for the Music Man, and then my next show that I did,
and I saw you in that. I didn't know you, but I saw you in it.
We have known each other over these 8 years, but only in the last, I would say 3 have we become the friends that we are. It was
just like in passing, like seeing you on Facebook, being like, I know that name. I don't know, but like I kind of know this guy.
And then it was like, I want to be that guy's friend, but we only see each other, so it's fine. But it was it was my third show. It was for Cabaret, and I really wanted to be the MC for whatever reason. At the time, that was my obsession. And I was like, okay, I really want this role because it has really good songs. Of course, listening to the album, I became obsessed with it. And I went to the audition in makeup, like slicked my hair back. I was ready. I did.
You didn't.
I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. It's okay. Go ahead and laugh. I do too.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But like, oh my gosh, that's so
funny. So I went. I did my audition. I did really well. And then they had me read for Ernst Ludwig. And when I did it as well as all of us would want to do, any audition or callback necessarily. And I could tell the moment that I finished, they were like, that's all we need to see. I was like, yeah, I just got this one and not the other one. It was just like a gut-wrenching, like, oh no, what did I do? But that's not to say anybody should fake an audition. Like, if you're called back for something, give it your all. Like, you're there for a reason. Sure. They want to see you do something. And that was a lesson learned, which was really, really nice. But it's still just kind of like oh well.
So when you went in for Ernst, did you feel like you were trying to show them, hey, I'm still a really good MC candidate, or did you throw yourself into Ernst and allow yourself to do that?
I threw myself into it and allowed myself the opportunity. But and that's ultimately what like settled in my soul. Is like, it's okay. I just didn't get what I necessarily was like really, really wanting. But I threw myself into it. I had a great time.
Yeah,
with
and that
the
was
show.
like what, year 1, year 2 for you?
Yeah, that was like year 2.
Just started. Yeah.
I know. I was like, okay, great.
That's great.
But to the point, this goes with a ending story, not necessarily an audition. But I had so much fun with it, not playing a Nazi necessarily, but just in the role. I had a gentleman come up to me at the end, and he was an elder gentleman, not sure of the age, don't remember his name. Anyways, he walked up to me at the end of the show, he shook my hand, looked me dead in the eyes. And I won't say what he said fully on this podcast because I want to be kid-friendly, but he basically just said that him and his friends undeaded all of us. And I was still in my uniform, and I was like, thank you for coming. I didn't know what to say.
Wow, what do you say?
I know, I was like...
this was one of the theaters where like people would come out in costume after the show.
Exactly,
wow.
Yeah. So I was
not
like...
those costumes.
Yeah, I was in...
Whoa!
Yeah, so I was like...
That's a lot.
Thank you for coming. That's all I can say.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's an experience. That happened.
Yeah.
But
so you didn't get what you wanted, but you got
I didn't get what I wanted, but I got the thing. My first audition that I ever did, I'll go back to that since that was yours, was for the Music Man, as we both know.
Yeah.
I have touched on. But I had never auditioned for anything. So I went in with On the Street Where You Live from My Fair Lady. Woo. And I walked in, I signed up on the sign-in sheet. There was like 5 people ahead of me. I was like, okay, I got a minute. And they go, you're next. I was like, okay, I just got here. I was
Nothing's
like,
more frightening than walking in off the street with your book in your hand and you're taking your coat off and just like, okay, we're ready, go.
I was like, oh, okay. So I proverbially and literally was thrown into this bus of musical theater. But that was for Music Man. I got Tommy G. List. That was a really fun role. And then
the role that I also played for those listening.
For those listening. So
yeah,
all those casting agents just know.
Which is funny because we're not at all the same type. We're not at all
but
the
we've
same
both,
type. But
we've
we
both
were both
done it.
we were both late teens, early
Yes.
20 looking people.
Indeed. Oh, the baby face was real. This beard
Yes,
did not
we were
happen.
both baby face. Yeah, yeah.
The beard came later. That's the name of this episode. The beard came later.
Yeah. When I auditioned for music, that was the first musical I had auditioned for. And again, everything we've talked about so far is community theater, so it's funny. Like I haven't thought about this stuff in years.
I know.
But I brought in. I remember I was sitting at my grandparents' computer and I Googled musical audition song guy.
Yeah.
And I saw West Side Story popped up. It was Something's Coming, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I like this song. So I listened to it and I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. And so I brought in Bernstein to this Music Man audition. And I was like, I think it's fine, but
yeah,
like,
it's fine.
looking back, I'm like, wow.
Wow,
Well, I mean,
okay.
literally, I knew nothing, which is it's just funny, like looking back. But
Exactly.
I booked.
There you go.
12-year-old me booked.
Booked and blessed.
Yeah. But first auditions.
I know, right? So long ago, yet just yesterday.
So this one is like my one big lesson rejection story that you were there for and kind of heard throughout. But so I'll tell it like I've never told you before.
Okay.
So it started when I went to this audition conference in New York, and we did a workshop with this resident director of a big show that was running at the time. And after like a week after the workshop, I got an email saying, you have an audition appointment for XYZ in New York City at this day and this time. And I was like, whoa. I did not submit for this. What's going on?
Yeah.
And so I guess this director had like put my resume in the stack that he gave to the Tara Rubin office and was like, call him in. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I went, I didn't go for some stupid reason. I was like, I'm rehearsing for a show right now, so I'm just going to send in a video. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah. So I sent in a video and obsessed over it, poured over it. It was, I think I spent like a week on it. I filmed a bunch. I was in our black box at our university. I was in the black box till like 2 a.m. trying to get the right. I
remember seeing your name on the calendar that night.
I
was
booked it from like
what is
6
he doing
p.m. to like midnight, and then wound up being there till 2 in the morning.
It's fine.
Because I was also filming a bunch of other auditions at the time to send in stuff. Because anyway, audition season.
The life.
The life. So I sent in the video, felt good about it. Like a week later, I got another email saying I had an appointment in the city, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, everything's changing! My world, my life, wow!" And so I went in. Of course, I didn't expect to get anything, but I was like, "This is big." Like I felt like I was being seen for the first time in like a really, really big capacity. And I was like, "This is crazy." That I'm like, it just feels amazing. It was the first time I think I allowed myself to be confident fully without doubt, because it was an external validation, which I guess is unhealthy in and of itself, but whatever. So I went to the city, did the callback. It was great, and then the world shut down because I went into that callback on, I think it was like March 11th of 2020.
Yeah.
So I saw like the 5th ever preview of Company. I saw what did I see? I saw a couple other shows while I was up there.
Yeah.
But like I flew back home, and then 2 days later Broadway shut down. So I was like, well, that ship has sailed for at least for now.
Yeah.
So 2 years go by. I guess I kind of sort of gave up hope, but then they reopened the tour for this show, and I was like, wait, so maybe they're looking at people again. I don't know. I sent an email out of the blue. I'm gonna give a loose timeline, like I guess early February. I sent an email just saying, hey, you guys were looking at me like literally 2 years ago. Are you guys still accepting submissions? Yeah. Like, what's up? Just kind of checking the pulse. Because, I mean, this had never happened before. There was no instruction manual of a pandemic. No. 2 years after a pandemic, what do you do? So I emailed them, and they were like, we're not casting at the moment, but thanks. Bye. And I was like, okay, that hurts.
That stabs. Yeah.
So, and then the tour was coming to our town. And I had a professor say, you need to see the show. I have a feeling you just need to see it. And I was like, okay, it's going to suck. It's going to hurt, but whatever. So I go see it. And then, I kid you not, 6 days after I see the show, I get an email out of nowhere from the casting office saying, hey, you have an appointment in New York City in 4 days.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, what?
What?
And not only that, but it was like 2 years and 2 days from my first
the day.
audition
Yeah.
appointment.
Yeah.
It was something crazy like that. It was
Yeah.
just, it was insane. So I go to the city. I do my thing. At this point,
I do not plan this. I sneeze in every episode.
That was a good sneeze today. We'll have to start rating them. That was like a solid 8 out of 10.
That's a solid 8. Okay, go on. Reset.
Reset. That was great. So 2 years have gone by. I've grown a lot. Like 2 years in college. Granted, it was COVID, so it was weird. But like I was so much more confident. I felt like I knew what I was doing, and so I went in. I've never felt better about a callback or audition in my entire life. I was like, I feel like I nailed that.
Yeah.
And at that point, because this show has 3 rounds, they have like initial screening. Yeah, they have screening. They have first callback appointment, and then they have like workshop-y, and then from there. So this was like second appointment, round 2.
Nice.
And
it's an efficient way to do it too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And I was like, I'm fine if I don't book this. It would suck, but like, I think I'm at least going to make it to final rounds. Like, I feel really good about this.
Yeah.
And if anything, I knew I had learned so much at that point, and I was like, I will just continue to learn and look at it that way. And my heart was just so wrapped up in this. And at this point, I was on contract for a show that was supposed to start rehearsing in about a month from that point that I needed, they asked me to have a beard for. Because I had a little scruff from my wedding, because I like to have a little scruff. Yeah. And so I started growing the beard out. And I didn't even think twice. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to look like my headshot, but like if they ask, I'll explain. It's also COVID. It's weird, like whatever. And when I walk in to that callback, I take my mask off, and they're like, oh, you doing Fiddler on the Roof? and I'm like, no, I'm actually doing, and then insert show name here. Yeah. I was like, but that's, and I promise I don't normally look like this. But I'm just growing it for this show in particular.
Correct.
Like, okay, cool, no worries, we get it.
Okay, cool.
I was like, oh, whew, great.
Nice. Yeah.
So I felt really good about it. I went home. I was like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. It's gonna be okay. And the date goes by for when I knew callbacks, the next round was supposed to start. I was like, I remember this time. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give myself one more week to think about it. And if I don't get a response, then that's okay. And I'll send out like one more email and be done. Yeah. So that day came. I sent an email. 2 more weeks go by. And at this point, they had 2 different companies they were casting for. That first company had been starting rehearsals. And I was like, oh, shoot. This is it. Yeah. Whatever. Okay, I need to move on. And then I got an email from the casting office that said, it said,
oh no.
Ultimately, you felt too mature compared to the current cast. And I saw that email, my heart just dropped, my stomach just dropped, my heart just broke. I was like, this is a definitive no that I'm looking at. And they were like, you did really well with the material. Thank you so much for bringing that in. It was lovely. We truly enjoyed it. It's just, you felt too mature is what they said. And I was like, I am the same age, type, and look as everybody else in that thing. But and I've spent months after that trying not to obsess over it and trying not to wonder, was it my beard? Yeah. And like, what if I had shaved? What if I had just said like, whatever, and gone in? I booked it. I don't know.
Who knows?
And that's something that I'm trying to let go of. But that is definitely the hardest, most gut-wrenching rejection that I've ever gotten, because first off, it was like 2.5 years in the making, and so that's one aspect. It was 2.5 years in the making. 2, it's a story that I really, really care about and want to tell. And 3, I just got my heartstrings wrapped up in it.
It was the biggest you had at that point.
It was the biggest opportunity that I'd ever had, and it was a bigger thing that I ever allowed myself to consider being possible in my career. And so I just let my heart get swept up in it, which I've learned now I cannot do. No. And those are the 2 big things I learned. Like, 1, be separate, have your be passionate, yes, but do your very best to not get your heart wrapped up in these things. And 2, this is something that I've started doing lately that I love, that I learned from one of my acting professors. Oh, cool. It's a super simple, fun little tradition, but every time you go out for an audition, a callback, whatever, celebrate yourself with a treat, a donut, a coffee,
Something.
whatever.
Yep.
Have a treat. Think about what you did. Think about what you could have done better. Think about all this, that, the other. And then when you get home from that treat, you throw that treat away or whatever. Be done. Leave it in the past. That audition never happened other than the thing that you have learned, that you have now processed and put in your pocket. Leave it all. It's done.
I like it.
Which I love. And I've started doing that, and that has been so beneficial for me. Everybody has different things, which is funny because as we were preparing for this episode, I was thinking about that story and like what I've learned from it. And literally yesterday, I got 2 really big no's.
Oh, no.
One of which was for something that I was really, really passionate about. It is literally my ultimate dream in Orlando to do.
Yeah.
And I
know
did
about
not
it too.
get it. Yeah. And so and my heart broke again. I was like, dang it. I was just going to talk about how now I've learned how to cope. But like it's never ending, but I definitely have learned to cope better and how to keep my heart separated. This was different though because it's literally the one thing that I want to do in this town, the one thing. But I did get a call back for something else that is also very exciting, which is great. So I guess five no's for every yes. There was one book I was reading the other day, and it was like prepare for literally 5% chance of yes.
Yeah.
Someone else I know has said like 100 no's for every yes. And
I was going to say, we have a mutual friend who literally auditioned 100 times and got like 2 yeses out of that entire thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, gracious.
Yeah. It's the statistics that you can't let get to your head.
Exactly. And half the time, similar to what your new mindset is, which I love, half the time when I audition, people are like, how do you feel? I was like, I mean, it felt good, but it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to try and sit here and worry.
Don't analyze it.
Insert worry, because I still do. Yes. But it's hard to let go, but it's also beneficial for our mental health, and it's beneficial as an artist just to be like, you know what? I gave what I gave. If I don't get it, it's fine. Like,
and similar to classes, like take things that work for you and leave everything that doesn't. And same thing with the audition. Like take away things that you learned. Yeah. Like, wow, I need to continue to do this, or wow, this kind of really sucked, and I need to not do that again.
Exactly.
And then put it in your pocket and leave it all behind.
I mean, I love saying that. What did I worded this to somebody the other day. It was very strange because it was like combining a garage with a kitchen. But what I said was sift your toolbox.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like everything that's in your toolbox is things that you keep, and then you throw everything out. Like it's very twisted. Sifting your toolbox.
That's funny. I tell my students this is another tool for your toolkit. It is not something that you need to have in your hand at all times. You cannot hold 5,000 tools in your hands.
Yep.
You can have a never-ending toolbox and just put whatever you want in that toolbox. Literally throw everything else in the garbage.
Exactly, and that's what I like. We both have had the same professors at our training, obviously, but they've also given us different advice because of the relationships that were within class, and whether it was very professional, obviously, but outside of class as well, the advice they would give us. My
like texting, like help me, and
exactly.
they're like, literally calm down. You're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. Go to sleep. It's okay.
Yes, sleep on it, and you'll wake up and be fine. I'm like, okay.
Be fine. Okay, fine. I just need to take a nap here. Okay, good night.
College is hard. College is hard.
Anyone in college, have some coffee. You'll be okay.
Have some Carvers.
Yeah.
Use our affiliate link.
Good plug. Well done.
Thank you. I was smooth, I think.
Yes, I don't think anybody noticed. My biggest weight, not necessarily my biggest no, because I ultimately did book, but I auditioned for a show that was the biggest thing I had ever done. And it was a non-union show, but even still, really good pay. So I was excited. You know about this one, but you've never heard this side of the tale. So I went to the audition. I was like, I think I should do it. So I did. I went prepared with music and was ready. But I never got taken in to sing. They literally just had me wait and I went straight to the dance audition. And I was like, it's weird because I didn't submit a video or anything. I literally sent my headshot and my resume, and they never heard me sing. So I was like, Oh, wait, no, I mistold. Excuse me. I didn't sing, but they had me go in and read sides.
Okay.
And after the sides, I guess they were just like, yeah, keep him for dance call. We'll see how he does.
But still to have you not sing. That's
I know. I was like,
weird.
I brought this binder for nothing. Okay. But did the dance call. They had me do it like 5 times out of the 7 that they did. So I was like, okay, I feel good. To the point that they gathered like 7 of us out of all the people that auditioned, and then we're like, okay, we're going to be in contact with you. You're good for the day. We have to keep these people for a couple of things. So I was like, okay. So I left, and I was like, oh, that feels really good. You know, I feel like that was good. I was like, this is a good opportunity. And the sun is shining. The take is clean. The take is good. And on that note, I was in another show at a local theater that now no longer exists, but it was a paid gig at the time, and I was excited because that was my first paid gig. And this was like a month later, and I had heard nothing. So I was like, okay. And then I had a fellow castmate in the show that I was cast in, and he got an email that he got a role in the show that we had both auditioned for, the big one. And he was like, yeah, I'm in the show now. And I'm like, okay. So I waited like another week. I didn't get any email, rejection or acceptance. So I was like, okay, I guess that's that. So I kind of
because
let
a lot
it
of
go.
times they'll say, "Oh, we'll contact you.
Yeah,
we'll let you know either way." They never let you know either way.
If you're a casting director, please do us all a favor, and our therapists, just send us a no. We will.
If you say you will,
Yes.
Send
if you
us
say
a
you're
no.
going to, just send a no. We'll
if you
be
don't,
okay.
it's fine.
Yeah. But we would rather know a no than be like, well, we've been gaslighted or ghosted or whatever the kids are saying nowadays. But I'm as a 28-year-old male, I can say that. I don't know.
That's fair.
But anyways, the total time after the in-person audition was 3 months. 3 months, Easton. I get an email that says, "Hey, you are still in our sites for this, and this. What? Can you submit more videos?" And I was like, okay, yeah. Needless to say, I had just an iPhone. I did not own any kind of phone stand. So I literally took 2 end tables in my parents' house with a stack of books and like had it meticulously leaned. And
you
in
take a tissue box.
Yeah.
Books.
You make it work. Work. And it fell so many times. I think I recorded like 24 times and had my dad sitting there just awkwardly like, "Are you ready? Okay, here we go."
Oh my gosh.
But so I submitted that, and then another month goes by. Oh my god. And I still heard nothing, so I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so finally I get an email. I got it. But it gets better worse, sort of. So they offered me the role. I was like, yes, I will so take that. That's so exciting. And I saw it as an opportunity because it was my first swing opportunity as well. And
I didn't realize you were swing for that.
yeah, so that's
awesome.
where it gets crazy. So they were like, "Hey, do you want to be a swing for this show?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I had no experience, so I was like, "It's a great undertaking." They were like, "Great, you have 7 roles. Here you go."
Woo!
Yeah.
What a way to start.
I know,
What a
right?
way to start.
Never swung before.
I started
Here we
with
go.
2, and that was too much.
Exactly. But I get there, we're starting music rehearsals, and another cast member stands up and they start to sing, and the casting director walks in and says, No, you don't have this role. Points at him and then points at me and says, "He does." That was news to me. So I was a named character and on stage swing at the same time.
Yeah.
So not only did I have to know 7 other people's tracks, but I also had my own track. So if
you
I
had
went
8
on,
tracks.
yeah, if I went on,
gosh, that's so much.
somebody had to go in my place.
Yeah.
So, and they had it structured to where people were understudies for people. So if someone had lit with it, just everyone shifted, which was fine. I'm sure that's how the industry does a lot of things, but that could be tossed up in the air of how you do it. And I did perform for 3 of the 7 roles that I did.
And that was a short run too, so that's great. Getting 3 of 7 out of it was a 2-month run.
It was about a 2-month run. In the same house, no travel or anything like that. But even still, it was a lot of shows. And I was ecstatic to be able to
And you had
perform.
like 3 a day sometimes, didn't you?
Yeah, three doshés. Here we
Because
were.
I had done that show in there, not that show, but
No,
a show in
a
that
show.
same space, in that time slot, like 2 years before that.
Yeah.
And those 3 show days are brutal.
They are, especially when
rough.
you're very hot costumes. Anywho,
Yes.
no, you're good. So I had to go on for one of the main, literally the second lead in the show I was understudying, and I had to go on because they got their hand stepped on by another character and broke 2 of their fingers, like not, and he went on for the rest of the show with broken fingers, and then like the next day I get an email that was like, so and so has been injured, they are fine, but they cannot perform for this today.
Wow.
Can you come in? And it was so funny because I went in, and this has a lot to attain to both work ethic, but also just a big old question mark on the industry sometimes in my mind, because I went in for the put-in rehearsal, and they scheduled me for like 4 hours for a put-in rehearsal. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's weird. We did it in 45 minutes because I was ready, because I knew my stuff.
Because you were prepared. Yeah.
Correct.
That's great.
But I'm like, that's what you hired me for. Like, I'm gonna know my
How
stuff.
long was the show?
The show was maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours long. So like they were giving me twice the show time for, I guess I guess they were ready
that's
if I
a
didn't
luxury.
know anything.
I guess that's great.
Yeah.
But
But-
still, that's weird.
I was like, okay, and they were like, okay, we're good. You can go. You're ready to go whenever you can. I was like, okay, cool.
Great.
But yeah, there was just a lot of miscommunication with that.
That's a really weird audition process.
Yeah. So that's probably my weirdest.
Strung along.
Yeah, I was like, can I know? I just want to know. Just tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
And
that's
especially hearing from one person that they booked it and then never hearing anything, and then eventually booking
Yeah.
it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's weird. But
That's one thing that I've learned is common in Orlando is, I mean, for those that don't know, I'm from Nashville, and obviously the community is very different in Orlando
Yes.
because there's a theme park at every corner.
Yes. And gift shop.
And a gift shop, 5 gift shops
5
for
gift
every
shops
park.
every corner.
And then 10,000 knockoff gift shops. But one thing I've learned is that especially with the major theme parks, you can send in a call, or you can send in like your video for a call, and then 7 months go by and they've hired a few people for it, and then you get your email saying, hey, we want you to send in this material. Okay, great. Because they don't have the budget to hire this many people at this exact time, but they want to hire 2 or 3, start training them, and then months and months later, when they need an extra replacement, they'll go back to that videos from the first pool of people that they saw. And that's so foreign for people like us that come from a place with like 4 equity theater companies, and that's it. And it's just like a different world, and it's a game of waiting a lot of the time, and like learning how to be patient in the waiting and not allow the waiting to consume you, and to allow yourself to keep going. Do you follow Ellery Ward?
No, but I do know the name.
Ellery, for those that don't know, Ellery Ward she's brilliant. She released, during COVID, she recorded and released an album of Sondheim stripped down acoustic
yes,
Sondheim.
I do know this.
And then, and she went on tour with Josh Groban, but Ellery opened for him and then did a song in the middle of the set. But anyway, I follow Ellery on the social medias, as all of you should. Everybody follow her.
Yes.
She the other day posted, it was just like a post about, you didn't get the job. Okay. Let's break down why. It's not because you wore the wrong color shirt. It's not because you weren't good enough. It's not because you should have placed that note differently. And just like went through all this stuff, she's like, it's literally 1, out of your control. 2, you have no right to know.
Yep.
And you shouldn't.
Yep.
So leave it behind. And it's that concept of so much of our job is putting things out there and then leaving it behind.
Exactly.
And like learning how to live in the waiting is a big part of doing this all the time.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is. So I guess the good takeaway that we can give to any upcoming artists and wannabe auditionees in the world is just wait, lean into the waiting, and also just be patient with it, because sometimes the waiting pays off and sometimes it hurts. But either way, you'll know and you'll be okay.
And find
But-
other things that give you joy and
Yes.
spark joy in you and do those things. And
like this podcast, because that's what we're doing. But on that note, that's why we were starting this podcast. And if you go back to our trailer episode, that's what we touch on. But we both as artists, because we continually audition, because we continually have just different jobs in general, we want to be better artists and be better at necessarily not taking the no, but being fulfilled no matter what.
Yeah.
And whether that be looking at art, taking in art from movies or television or music or whatever.
Yeah. Letting our own inner sense of artistry fulfill us rather than depending on confirmation from the industry itself.
Correct. I mean, I've heard it before from teachers and directors. You may not have gotten a role because the casting director looked at you and saw an ex or a friend. No, seriously, like they saw in you something that was from their past and they didn't want to deal with it. So they said, no, it's not that you're not talented. It's not that you can't do the role. It's not that you wouldn't be
bring
brilliant.
a sense of youth and an inner sense of positivity and innocence that
You're
we just
too
don't
mature
like that.
for this
You literally
cast.
sang it. Maybe you sang it, but yeah, you're too soon. Sorry. But like, there's a myriad of reasons why, and it has nothing to do with your talent. And also, like, one thing that I would tell my students too was like, if you get to the point to where you are auditioning frequently for professional shows, if you're going to school for theater, even if you're not, but like, if you're at this point to where you're getting a degree, you're doing the thing, you're going to calls, you're getting callbacks, whatever. Once you've hit like at the threshold, it is not about talent anymore.
Nope.
It's not. It can be about ability in specific areas.
I would
like
agree
this
with
role
that.
has to belt their face off. Sure, you need to belt. But once you reach a threshold, it's not about talent. And don't worry so much about am I good enough? Because once you can match pitch, you are a singer.
You're a singer.
Once you can think about having an objective and play that objective, you are an actor.
Yep.
And period. From
Once
that
you
point
can-
on, it's just growth.
Once you can hit a point on stage without whacking into somebody, you can be a great mover/dancer. Ask me how I
there you
know,
go.
because that's me. Any casting directors, I am a very strong mover/dancer. I am not a dancer. But that's okay, and that's okay.
Yes. But that's our podcast. It's about growing and learning and engaging with different forms of artistry and allowing
Exactly.
yourself to be vulnerable so you can grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But last
Right.
minute thoughts for me would just be keep going. A philosophy that I learned and heard long ago that I've shared with Easton when we were in person in college together is I like the mindset of the fives, which I'm sure you could find more information anywhere on the internet about it. But ask yourself this. Is it going to matter in 5 hours? Is it going to matter in 5 days? Is it going to matter in 5 weeks? Is it going to matter in 5 months? Is it going to matter in 5 years? If it doesn't, you can move on. It's going to be okay.
I love that.
Right? When I
love
learned
that
that,
so
I was
much.
like, that's so mind-blowing because we can let stuff sit on us and in us for so long. And it's okay to feel those things. Please, feel your feelings.
Yeah.
But also, don't miss your life and miss other opportunities because you're stuck in them as well.
Hold on to them, kiss them goodbye, and let them go.
And yes, what's the cleaning method that got real big in 2020? Where it's like, thank you for your time.
Don't even start there. Yes, it is Marie Kondo and her Netflix show and Sparking Joy. I literally
do you have it?
Her boxes from the Container Store. I bought her set of boxes for my birthday. That's what I bought
That's
myself.
amazing.
Marie Kondo.
No,
it's
that's great.
amazing.
It is.
Yes.
But just like thank it for being in your life and let it go.
Yes.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So keep going though. We all believe.
Yeah.
We both believe in you. Everyone does who is in your life.
Keep going. Keep growing.
You're gonna do it. Keep going. Keep growing. There's another T-shirt. We're gonna have so
Another
many
one.
T-shirts. Another one.
You're gonna be like, I'm drowning in shirts.
I'm drowning in shirts. All right, let's wrap up this episode, shall we?
Let's wrap it up.
They've heard enough of the negative. Let's be positive. So, to be positive, let's go to www.carvercoffee.com and support this wonderful business. And be sure to enter our affiliate link. What is it, Easton?
It is The Artist's Blend, TheArtists Blend.
You heard it
you'll
here,
get
folks.
10% off of your beans. And they're really good.
Yeah.
We tried 2 of theirs so far. We'll probably order from them again here in the future. And
I very much enjoy it. What are your thoughts on the coffee? Let's do that real fast.
Yeah. Honestly, I am not fancy enough yet to know how to describe them. Obviously, it was different than Kilimanjaro. This one was the Colombian. I really liked it. I liked it a lot. It was like a little more grounded. It was more like earthier.
That's a term. That's a term. So you're doing good. You're doing good. Yes.
Great. It's more grounded than the Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
It had a little spicy.
Keep going.
But in a
it
good way.
was.
I don't.
No, it smelled.
words.
When I opened the bag, it had a spice to the scent, which I really liked. I got the earthy tone, taste as well. I was also going to say that some of the notes were woody, so I don't know what was necessarily in the blend.
It's probably the cardboard box that I sent you to you.
Probably, yeah. Let's be honest. I was like, pizza. No, before this episode, we were talking about for whatever reason, when I cut cardboard boxes, sometimes my nose is like, we smell pizza. This is a thing, and literally, there's not a speck of food around, so I don't understand where it comes from. But anyways, be sure to check them out. Get their roast, get their beans. They're really good, just like you guys. And on that note, I think we should just sign out. Easton, you want to get us out of here?
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Be good beans and drink good beans.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Good vocal fry.
The Artist's Blend theme music was written and produced by Christopher and Sarah Bailey of Well Wishes Productions, a Nashville-based boutique production company specializing in multimedia production, live event contracting, studio, and live vocals. Find Incognita's infamous adventures on Amazon Prime and its soundtrack on all digital platforms.